Okay, so before we get into the topic for this week, you wanted to talk about music, and I'm kind of comfortable with this because we rarely talk about music on the show. You're a big connoisseur of a lot of different music. I basically find my music and I stick to it. I'm not a big, like, oh, this artist released a new album, I got to go pick it up. But you mentioned to me this notion that, like, there just isn't anything good to listen to right now. And lately I have been wanting to turn the radio on to see if there's something good to listen to, but there just isn't anything good to listen to. However, there is Christmas music now, so, like, that is, in my opinion,
it's
actually
a little
good.
too early for the Christmas music for me personally. Like, wait until after Thanksgiving, then it's okay.
I think it just, with it just snowing here in Ohio for the first time this season, it's kind of perfect. I haven't heard any Christmas music before yesterday.
That's good.
So, it was kind of just ideal. Anyway, you wanted to bring up music.
Yeah, earlier this week I was just kind of not in a rut, but, like, I feel like I'm always on the hunt for new music of some sort, and I don't know why. And it's funny that you mentioned, you kind of stick to the same things after a while, and you're like, you kind of get in that little loophole of, maybe not loophole, but just...
I listen to a lot of Blue Sky Black Death, and I want more Blue Sky Black Death, but really a lot of their albums weren't, like, noir. And 88th Ultra has, which is kind of their new label for Blue Sky Black Death, has, like, songs like that. But yeah... like Thrice with Circles, you just kind of fall into just, like, this album. This is, basically it.
Yeah, and I've got certain artists. Thrice is one of them. Dance Gavin Dance is another one. That, if they release a new album, I'm on that. Like, I'm like, yes, it's going to be amazing because I've trusted these guys basically for years with their music, and I've always connected with it. There's a few artists like that too, that are have gotten back together over the years I listened to years ago. And I'm excited about that. But at the same time, it's like I love finding something new, that's something different that I haven't heard before, and to kind of get me excited about just, I don't know, opening
masturbating.
My ears.
Oh wait, no, wrong topic. Anyway,
and another a band that I listened to, Highly Suspect. They came out with an album just a couple of years, like 2 years ago maybe, and they just came out with a new album. It was just like, I'm listening to the new album because I was just like, the first one was so good, it was great, it was just kind of like a real fresh taste on, like, real rock, in my personal opinion, of course. And this new album, I'm just like, man, this is not what I wanted it to be. And that kind of gave me the idea. It was just like, when I text you, I think what it says, like, new music / nothing that's really coming out, or nothing new. It was just like, they kind of just rehashed what they did, and it's just like, that's not what you're supposed to be doing, guys. Like, you're supposed to be kind of progressing yourself, not taking a step back. Like I said, again, in my opinion, like, they took a step back, and I got annoyed about it, and was like, I need something fresh again.
Well, I come back to that notion of, like, with Blue Sky Black Death, what defines them is noir to me, and so I can understand some bands that do that. You have a sound that works, that's sold, you go with that, and you work off it. However, there are other bands that it's just like, something, you were unique, and I want more uniqueness out of you. And even as somebody who is in, what's it called, a soundophile or
audiophile?
An audiophile, or somebody who just isn't big into music. Even I recognize that, where it's just like, both of those sides are needed. And the radio obviously has the problem of pop culture, where it's always kind of stuck on pop culture, and of course, what sells and what most people listen to is going to be what works. But at the same time, like, sometimes the radio does actually hit it, where it's just like, this is a fresh sound, and it gets me into, like, a fresh band, like
then you kind of network away from that. You're like, oh, who are, like, these guys like this, and usually, especially nowadays, with Spotify, RDO, iTunes, whatever, say, oh, you listen to this, you might enjoy this, and you're like, oh, I'll check that out too.
And a lot of times that's even a single song. Like, I've only heard the one song by Alt J, and I love that song by Alt J. I forget what it's called. Anyway,
Tessellate?
No, something. The word something is actually in the title of the song. Anyway, so
I do like some Alt J though.
Yeah, we were listening to that in my car when you came up, and like that's the other side of it, where it's just like, even if it's not a band that I want to listen to every one of their songs, like sometimes you just want that one new fresh song to listen to, or a fresh sound to kind of get you on that hunt for where you settle with that sound. Because sometimes it's like there is a song that like triggers you to be like, I want that sound, but that song doesn't do it for me. And so like, yeah, like this need for the hunt for music, for fresh sound. I feel that too. I'm even kind of feeling that with like the Warframe videos, where with the intent to expand them, I want some fresh sounds for them. However, one of the royalty-free guys I've been utilizing his music, TechnoX, I'm just not finding any of the notes I want to land on with a lot of his tracks. So then, you kind of go out into the world again, and it's just like, shit, where do I even start again?
Yeah.
So,
well, there's so much out there, and I heard this this quote. I don't know if it was a quote or quip,
just say it.
Whatever. Basically, it's just like the best music is you haven't listened to it yet. Like it's undiscovered. And it's kind of sad and interesting though. It's just like there's all this stuff around us that you can hear, you can find it. Like a great guitarist, but you're like, that's probably not the best guy. It's probably some guy in his garage that's actually a fucking brilliant musician, but no one is knows about it because he's just not out there. And it's a little sad, but it's also kind of like, man, I don't know. I'm just rambling on now. My brain again.
Ramble Entertainment. I mean, that's what we're here for. But yeah, I also get that.
Now.
There was this song called Parachute that played in Old Navy when I worked at Old Navy some 4 years ago now, and it was a really good song, but it's hard to find on YouTube. It's hard to download. I know there's a link somewhere in my computer to it, but like apparently I don't think this guy ever really, at least from what I can tell, took off, or at least as far as that label or how he titled himself as an artist back then. And so yeah, like I completely get it. You hear something, you want to hear more of it, or something similar, and that's a lot of what the basis for kind of human music inquisition is, where we inquire about sound in a way that we were originally going to talk about AI in the topic, but I just don't think it's the right time. I think there kind of maybe needs to be some news about it to get us intrigued and really in the mood for discussion about it again. But when it comes to AI, like, we're starting to mimic things like taste in robotics, and I want to be clear between robotics and AI, because most of the intelligence behind machines is in the person who's operating it, or the people who designed the thing. The machine actually isn't intelligent. It doesn't know what to do without the person or people who made it actually telling it what to do. So like basically there are machines that they've gotten to taste like beers. And taste might be mimicable, sight might be mimicable, even smell might be mimicable. I'll be curious to see if a sense of sound or music or art will be mimicable. I think that's very interesting, because one of the things that made us what we are today, humans, the dominant species on the planet, is this ability to sense things that other animals don't, to see art, to hear music, to absorb sound and imagery and color in ways that other animals could not.
That's an interesting point. I think personally, I think talking about music here, I think music can be. The reason why I say that is because pop music is a great example of this. A lot of the most famous pop songs throughout history use the same chord progression. And
production and actually hearing to actually absorb something that is considered good according to a subset of human ears is different. I say, like, to produce something popular or that is within the realm of popularity is different from actually, I think, producing proper art.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. It's like that chord progression, you can just hear like the same. I'm not about to fucking do it. Like the same four notes in a row. You know,
Four Norts.
Four notes in a row.
So four Nords walk into a bar.
Like the same. You hear those same four notes, you know, over and over again. You know, a being, a person, you know, we can say yes, those four notes are enjoyable because it's almost been like scientifically proven. You know, it's like we hear those, we're like, oh, that's nice, but it's all those other nuances around it. You know, it's the vocals, the guitars, the bass line, whatever other stuff is in there that really kind of separates us apart as people. You know, it's like you can take that same progression in pop music or some sort of aggressive metal, and you're gonna have two completely different sides of the spectrum there. So, you know, I'd say it's mimical to a degree, but it's not gonna be able to kind of really distinguish.
Day 9 was kind of talking about this. Someone sent him a cut of some of the music they were working on, and he's the guy who got me into Blue Sky Black Death and plays a lot of their music and a lot of music like it on his Twitch show. And, you know, of course, his Twitch show translates to YouTube, but doesn't have the music on it, so he'll play music live that he purchases the rights to. And so, you know, he'll kind of mimic these things, that there is an echoey or billowiness to a particular section of the song, which makes it more ambient. However, that is definitely mimicking. That's not actual like production and artistry. Because you can look at, say, the Mona Lisa and say like the tonals and the textures are something that's good about it, and translate them to painting someone else. But the Mona Lisa is one of a kind because it was one of the first paintings of that style. It was an artwork, and it just, you know, it's, you can reproduce it, you can do other things like it, but that's not art, or it's art, but not artistry to the level of original creation. And yeah, that's what will be truly interesting to find. I still think we're the machine race, but that's the thing for another time. Let's get into the topic.